Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to FPL Don't Panic. After a very eventful game week 13. I have not slept much. I've watched football right the way through the weekend from here in New Zealand. It was emotional, folks. It was very emotional. I said it was going to be a topsy-turvy week. I said there was going to be swings, roundabouts, surprises, ups and downs. It was, pardon the pun, hair-raising. But ultimately successful. I did do a very quick game week 13 review after the City-Liverpool match. So I'm not going to go too much into that side of things in this video. I want to talk more about my transfer plans as well as my game week 14 team, and also what I'm looking to aim towards game week 16. But yeah, you can see it on the screen there, 85 points. Let's run through it quickly. Just bring this up so I can see what I'm doing. Yeah, Henderson 2-pointer, 8 nothing. Gabriel, bless his little cotton socks, with his goal return, held the defensive side of the project up pretty much single-handedly, just in 45 minutes. Yellow flagged, not overly worried. Arsenal were in control at that point. He did take a bit of a contact knock, so if there's a bit of bruising or something like that, I think it would have been precautionary. So Arteta's not going to let me know. I've spoken up. Arteta lies, so we don't know whether he'll be good for the midweek game. But I'm reasonably optimistic, and I've obviously got a bench to cover that, which is the whole idea of having a reasonable bench to cover incidents like this if someone suddenly doesn't make it into the team. Hall, disappointingly, just the 2 points, concedes with just a minute to go. Newcastle are shocking, spoke about it in the last video. Yeah, kind of glad I didn't go down the Isak path, to be honest with you, because he was taken off as well. And he always gets injured. Have you ever noticed? Did you notice all last year? Whenever Wilson's on his way back, Isak gets injured. Whenever Isak's on his way back from an injury, Wilson gets injured. So that was the pattern last year. And is that continuing? We'll see if Isak makes it out. Anyway, but I think I'm taking him off my watch list. It just feels too high risk. That he is an injury-prone player. I love him. He's really good. He's really sharp. I may live to regret it if he does come back and starts banging them in. But Newcastle look poor, and Isak keeps picking up knocks. I don't need that kind of hassle in my life, and certainly not in FPL. Midfield, what can you say? For the most part, absolutely fantastic. Salah had a big choice between Salah and Palmer. I went with Salah. Still think that was still a great choice. And that sitter that he missed. Oh my God, I was screaming at the TV. I thought, it's not going to go so well for me. But then, of course, he gets his penalty. Salah finds a way. I said at the beginning of the season, a lot of people were sort of leaving Salah out because he was relatively poor by his standards towards the back end of last year after the Africa's Cup. I mean, basically he was knackered, but he was still averaging 6 or 7 points. And, as I said a number of occasions when I was doing my early drafts videos and selecting my game week 1 team, that he was going to come out of the blocks flying. Well, even I couldn't have anticipated what he's doing at the moment. So, yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Salah. Carry on doing what you're doing. Palmer. Yeah, I mean, technically every point that Palmer scored was actually hurting my rank. But I still wanted him to score. I wanted to see him get back on form and get his eye back in and get his mojo back, because in the long run that is going to benefit me more. And fantastic results with his 14 points. But I reckon it cost me thousands of places, literally thousands of places. We'll never know, but. Just really delighted to see him back. And what a beautiful second goal that was. Oh, just an absolute peach. And loving his partnership with Jackson. We'll talk about that a little later. Saka, to be honest with you, was in some ways my saviour. I never considered him captaincy, so I've got no real regrets there. But I am going to have to start changing my tune about Saka. I think I've always just seen him as a good, regular, steady Eddie, 6, 7, 8 points per week average, just doing it regularly, very rarely getting those 13, 14, 15, 16 point hauls. But he's doing it. And he starts to become a genuine captaincy contender now. He is looking hungrier. Could have killed him when he gave that penalty to Odegaard. So I thought, But butterfly effect, He gave him that. He gave that to Odegaard, and who knows, that second penalty, which he actually did take and converted, might not have happened. Butterfly effect, if you know what I mean, cause and causation, etc. So came in, beautiful ball. Please stop giving the penalties away. I don't need that kind of stress in my life. So absolutely brilliant. And in my review video that I put out right after the Liverpool match, it's Saka as an angel, because he was my guardian angel, because I do believe that was my key differentiator this week. All this midfield is really, really highly owned. It is almost like the template midfield, but Saka is probably the least owned, I think, amongst all four of those, because a lot of players are still struggling to get to him because of the structure of their teams, particularly those on Salah Haaland drafts, or just Haaland drafts. He's big money to bring in. So that to me was really real key differentiator for the rank rise. And Mbeumo, he's fallen off a cliff. I love him. He's a fantastic player, but his expected goals and expected assists has fallen off a cliff the last 4 or 5 game weeks. Time to say bye-bye. Especially with the fixture swing. Wizard, I do like to give myself a pat on the back when I predicted something, and I said Wizard scores at home. Doesn't score away from home, scores at home. And nice goal, and a fantastic player at home. But can I ever afford to have a player? There's so many good options out there that was only going to score at home. And Brentford's fixtures really do take a massive turn. Literally now they take a big turn. João Pedro, probably the biggest disappointment of the week, really. Just a couple of points. Oh God, I feel for the people that captained him, and quite a few did. And his, I think in the various forecasts and things I was looking at, he was expected to be the highest point scorer this week, but he wasn't. No, he's not going anywhere in my team. Although again, I have to keep an eye on him. Where the hell was he playing in that game? That was a game where you thought he was going to be dominant up in the higher areas of the pitch. He spent most of the game in his own bloody half. Don't know what that was about. It's a bit of a concern. One to monitor. I can't see that being a regular thing. I don't know what was going on there, what tactic was being played. We'll keep an eye on that one. I just got the points, and obviously Cunha, very, very strange game, that Wolves one. But they still scored 2 goals. Cunha, unfortunately, not on the case in this particular match. Strand Larsen was obviously the hero for Wolves, which I'm sure some of you out there listening will have probably been making that choice between Cunha and Strand Larsen. So Cunha's day last week, Strand Larsen this week, so hopefully Cunha next week. We will see. Another, probably second biggest disappointment maybe, would be leaving Bruno on the bench. I said last week, and this is where I'll pat myself on the back for being the prophet of doom and getting it right. I said Bruno's going to punish me, and of course he did. I still question his role a little bit, but his numbers the last few weeks, unfortunately I haven't had any of them, have been absolutely fantastic. I brought him in after his 17-pointer. I had spoken about him after his 10-pointer the week before. He's going to get on a roll. We'll look at his numbers. They're getting outrageous now, and I have had literally none of them. So Gavardio, unsure whether. I think Pep wanted to shake some trees, but it didn't work. City's defensive mistakes continue. I think Gavardio will be back next week or in the midweek match against Forest. There is a big question mark hanging over him, obviously, for me. We'll talk about that when I talk about my team for next week. And Konza, just the one. Some good fixtures coming up, so he starts to come into contention soon. So it's an 85 points. So that's moved me from 239,000 to 156,000. I think I'm just a bit outside the top 100k now, which is my ultimate target. That's where I want to get to. I'm a wee bit ahead of schedule at the moment, so I'm just trying to make sure I hold a nice steady ship and sort of keep. I don't mind how small the greens are, just what I don't want to see is big 200,000, 300,000, 400,000 drops. They may still happen. It's football. We don't know what's going to happen. This team's been fantastic the last few weeks, but you just need one bad week, and thump. The way this is so condensed at the moment, could suddenly find yourself down 300, 400, 500 places and maybe more just in 1 week. Don't expect that to happen, to be honest with you. I suspect I could have a relatively bad game week and not drop too far because the teams are getting very, very samey. I've got a couple of differentials in there. What I do like about this team is last week it was actually I'll classify them as my differentials, but my sort of fringe players, my cheaper players that held up their end of the bargain, coming in with big hauls, as I say, João Pedro's, Acuña's, etc. Coming in with big points, while apart from Salah, the premiums, blew. This week it's the other way around, and I think that's really makes me happy about the squad. That when one's doing crap, someone else steps in, and that was the idea with having going premium heavy, 11 to 15. And probably even going now, as I say, in Game Week 16, looking to bring another premium or two in, which I'll talk about a little bit later. So yeah, I've got to be really happy with that. 85 points, 239 to 156k. I think just 6-7 points now, outside the top 100k. My Game Week average is now 65 points. As a few of you know, I try to aim for that 70 points per game week average. I was chugging along nicely the first 5 game weeks. I was bang on at the end of the 5 game weeks, bang on 70. And then 6 to 9, 6 to 8, I think, fell off a cliff with the Salah Haaland draft, with the 2 blanks, and then did some corrective surgery, because I had actually dropped down to a 59 points per game week average, so that's back up to 65 now. I'm really happy about that, and I'm on 5 greens in a row, I think it is, and there'll be 5 greens in a row. The leader this week actually scored 89 points, and it is actually the same player as last week, so he's probably having a celebratory vino or two this weekend. A lot less change in the top 50 this week. Remember when I did a review a few weeks ago that the top 50 was literally all changed. It was like everyone had gone. There was like 3 or 4. So it looks to be, but it's probably because the teams are becoming a little samey. There are only 34 new entries, which sounds like a lot in the top 50. But a couple of weeks ago, and consistently that had been the case week on week, it was like probably 4 or 5. It was literally just 4 or 5 of the same teams left in the top 50, but I have noted a few re-entries into the top 50 this week, including the guy that was at number 1 a couple of weeks ago. So just interesting that seems to be less volatile up in those top echelons. The leader's actually averaging 76 per game week, and those that have watched very early videos that I did right at the beginning of the season, when in sort of first sort of 7 or 8 game weeks, the averages were like up at sort of 120, 180. I predicted it would come all the way down by about game week 15 to an average of 75 per game week. So it's nearly there now. It's at 76. So I think it's going to hover there for a wee while, given some of these high scores that are starting to come in. So I'm still a little bit off that, but I'm creeping toward it. I don't realistically expect to hit 70 per week as an average. I'd be down there winning the thing if I did that, but it's an aspirational sort of goal and sort of keeps me targeted towards that. And it's funny how my spreadsheets and things sort of always seems to point towards that when I work out all my averages. Game week average for this week is 60, which is like incredibly high. That's an incredibly high game week average right across nearly 11 million players. And certainly, I think that average is much, much higher in that sort of top 100, 200, 300k. As I say, because the engaged managers, the ones that are actually really going for it, do have these players. They're getting their transfers generally right. So I suspect the actual in the upper echelons, the average is probably more like a 70, maybe even 75. Right. That's the week that was. What is the week that will be? Or literally, because the deadline's probably in about 24 hours' time, isn't it? With the fast turnaround of games, which really does suit me down to the ground, to be honest with you. Right, I'm going to bring up my next team, and you will straight away see there has been changes. And I'll try and explain some of those to you. The changes were largely driven by what I want to try and achieve by game week 16, where I saw a bit of a weakness in the team, and as I say, and going very, very early to beat price rise and a price drop, because dollars are going to be really, every 0.1 is going to be really important in a couple of game weeks' time. And these players are probably going to sit on my bench anyways for the next game week. I thought, you know what, I'm going to make these transfers now and get the cash out and into the bank. So between Henderson and Fabianski, Let's actually flip of a coin again between the two. Probably go Henderson, but just based on West Ham's real defensive frailties. Leicester away as well, though. Flip of a coin. Well, flip of a coin. I'm going to go with Henderson for now. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take you through. I can't show you this, but you can see my team here. Bear with me. I will, hopefully. That worked for me. Now you won't see this. This is a spreadsheet I'm normally doing on paper, but I'm just trying to tidy it up so it might be something that I can show you in future weeks. It's not quite there yet, but it's enough for me to read off. So yeah, Henderson averaging 4 points per week over the last 5 game weeks. That's an 8.2272 average of 4. You know what? I kind of accept that for a goalkeeper. There's not too many doing better than that. It's 4.4 million. We may look to chain him out at some point, but for now, if you can just pick up the few save points here and there and stay on that average, it's okay. I will play Gavardio this week. And if he doesn't make it in the team, hopefully he doesn't come on the pitch and someone else can come off the bench for him. He is actually averaging 5 in his last 5 played matches. I don't think Forest will score at City. And I think he will be pushed very far forward, so there might be some attacking intent. I think he's my best option if he plays. The question is, was he dropped? And I think he was dropped because he was playing crap as a defender. But thing is, the ones that were brought in didn't do a huge amount better. That second goal for the penalty, that was a catastrophic defending, and they looked absolutely. I thought Liverpool were going to get 4 or 5 in that first 10-15 minutes. I think he'll come back in for this, given the nature of the fixture. He's averaging 5. Gabriel, yeah, good to see his numbers starting to push up again. 2 returns in his last 2, so he's in a 1-2-2-6-9. Just an average of 4, but that number's creeping up because that was just 1 or 2 points a couple of game weeks ago. Got Konza in at the moment, just based on the fixture. It's a really good home fixture, I think. Just averaging 1 point, but I fancy we might get something out of him this time. I reserve the right to maybe bring in Ait-Nouri as well, who's also got a pretty decent fixture. But we have Konza in there for now, averaging 1. Salah, the Egyptian guard, 2-2, 13, 18, 13. He's averaging 9. I actually round some of these down to 9 points something, just for some sort of realistic stat just to keep the numbers a little bit real. But yeah, Salah's averaging 9. Palmer, 11, 3, 2, 2, 14, average of 7. Great to see him back on the board. And hopefully we can start to see those his numbers start to get to those more regular hauls every game week or two. And the fixtures are really good for Palmer. Really, really good. Then we have Saka, 9, 2, 2, 13, 18, averaging 9. Hate to say, I mean, United looking better, but he could do some serious damage against United next week. Still don't trust that United defence. I do fancy United could maybe potentially get a goal or 2 though. And on that front, I do actually have Bruno. I have kept Bruno. I was thinking of selling him. But these numbers, you can't argue with them. And I did say, and pat myself on the back for future predictions, Des, that he would start getting to a 10-point average. 2, 11, 16, 2, 9. It's an average of 8 points. It's not quite 10, but it is creeping towards there. Those are good numbers. So he's got himself, I won't say a reprieve. I'm still not sure about this position that he's playing, but they're settling into it. United did look better. They did look a lot better, which makes me happy because I'm a United fan. So he's averaging 8. Transfer time. I have brought in Jackson. Brought in Jackson for Wizard. Much as I like Wizard only scores at home. Brentford's fixtures have turned. Chelsea has some really good fixtures coming up. Jackson has regular haul potential, not just 1 every 2 weeks haul potential. He's on a 9, 1, 2, 12, 6. He's a different player to last year. Still, I think that's an average of 6 or 7 there. He's going good, and I do like his partnership with Palmer, and I think between the two of them, somewhere in the next 2 or 3 game weeks, and they've got some very nice fixtures, I think they could go absolutely muller some team, and it could be Southampton, and that's why I brought him in now. Southampton are looking really poor. Southampton have now got injuries. Southampton keep trying to play that ball out from the back, and they can't do it. Jackson and Palmer could absolutely kill them. You know, a stray ball, and Palmer is just so sharp. I reckon I think they'll both return next week. We'll see if I'm right. We'll call that the Des prediction. You know, a return each for Jackson and Palmer, and possibly at 10 points plus each. We'll see. Cunha's still in. He's averaging 9. He's on a 9, 6, 12, 16, 2. He's got an average of 9. He seems to do a little bit better away from home, I feel. I have that wrong. It's just the way the shape of the team, and teams push up a bit more, the spaces in behind. But yeah, he stays. And then Pedro, maybe similarly for Pedro as well, João Pedro. He's on an 8, 8, 11, 12, 2 in his last 5 matches played, which is an average of 8. So, you know, across the board, if I overlaid all of those, that would give this as a team. Now, obviously, I haven't played it because it's substitute transfers, etc. But this team would have generally achieved over the last 5 games, overlaying all of those matches, 71, 47, 71, 91, 76, which gives an average of 71. Go figure. This seems to happen nearly every week. Bottom range, and remember, that is without captaincy. I make all my predictions without captaincy, just for, as I say, for the budge factor. That gives a median of 47 to 91, and the median is 69, which is my prediction for the coming game week. I would be very happy with that. Now remember, that's without captaincy, but I'm predicting the 69. I leave out the captaincy for injuries you don't expect, just anything and everything that can happen. Last week went swimmingly, obviously, and I've ended up with an 85. If you actually took Salah's numbers off it and took the captaincy numbers off it, then it was very close to my prediction of, I think it was about 68, 69 last week, wasn't it? So yeah, hopefully another game week like that. I hope you're very, very happy to hit 70 again. Very, very happy indeed. So that's it. So I have left out one of my transfers. You'll won't have noted. Oh, you will have noted. So we'll just talk a little bit about that. Again, just going to do a little pat on the back for Prophet Des. Shame I didn't bring him in. I talked about a watch list last week, I think it was. Spoke about players like Kirkes, who's returned this week, 4.4 million Bournemouth defender. Looks very, very promising with some fixtures coming up, and Kirkes did return this week. Spoke about a couple of other players as well that did quite well this week, I think. But one of my big ones I said is watch out for Amad Diallo. He's looking superb. I said it. I think he's returned now in 3 game weeks in a row. It's 4.9 million. Mbeumo's gone, as you'll note. Had a lot of money tied up in Mbeumo. He's not returning. The fixtures are turned. His price is going to plummet, and I need that money for what I want to do in game week 16, which is to bring in potentially 2 more premiums. Where the premiums I will have my eye on and see what their form is like. And currently, the favourite would be to bring Trent back in. I am not ruling out bringing in Haaland. I have worked out a path that I can get there in 2 or 3 transfers without damaging the integrity of this team too much. But it will obviously be weakening some positions, which will be obviously a massive bench strip. But getting Ahmad for 4.9, he looks superb. He's going to have that spot nailed down if he keeps going like that. He may sit on my bench sometimes, but what a fantastic bench option. As I say, two assists, could have had a goal, should have had a penalty in my opinion for another assist. He's been outrageously good since the new manager's come in. So that's the other transfer I've made, even though I think he will sit on my bench for this game week. And then maybe come in, in fact, he'll most definitely come in for game week 15. 8 more on the bench. He may make it in the team because Everton can't score, so he may come in for Konza. You do always fancy Brentford to get a goal, even when they're not playing too well. And definitely not playing anyone from Newcastle against Liverpool. I think I'm going to call it a day on that. I have, as I say, had a sleepless night. I did actually catch a few hours this morning. Got to get out, do a bit of work. It's a beautiful sunny day here in New Zealand, so I'm going to try and get out and enjoy a few hours of that. Maybe have a little walk on the beach. Deadline will come around very, very quickly, folks, so make sure you don't miss that and get your teams locked in. Yeah, best of luck for game week 14. Hope it goes well for you all. Hope you had a really good game week this week. As I say, it was, a topsy-turvy one. But yeah, in the meantime, have fun. Play your own game. And above all else, don't panic. See you on the flip side. Take care.